During the pandemic, Idaho saw a huge influx of people that were fleeing states with really heavy regulations and coming to Idaho, which had barely any. Well, now that the pandemic is over, the regulations have been lifted and the interest rates have skyrocketed, a lot of people think that the growth is going to slow down, if not altogether stop. Well, I have 10 reasons why I don't think that's going to be true going into 2023. Let's go. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Living Life in North Idaho. If you're interested in knowing what it's like living, eating, working, playing, and buying real estate here in Idaho, this is the channel for you. Make sure you tap the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so every time I come out with a new video, you get notified. Now, we need to look at the history of Idaho because it wasn't just during that pandemic that it really started to grow. Idaho has been growing for decades. Ever since they've been doing a census, Idaho has always grown. From 1990 to 2000, it had grown 28%. And my family's part of that big growth because we moved here during that time. From 2000 to 2010, it went up 21%. And in 2010 to 2020, it went up 17%. And just in 2021 and 2022, it's already gone up 7%. Now, not all of those are Californians. I know what you're thinking, oh, that's just all these Californians moving. No, it's only about 22% of Californians. Most of the people moving here are from Washington, Portland, Utah, Arizona. Those are the top states. Now, why are there so many people moving from those states? Well, a lot of those states have been seeing a lot of instability politically. There's a lot of progression, a lot of changes taking place in these states, and it worries some people. Also with the regulations, of course, really heavy regulations in some of those areas, so a lot of people wanted to get out of those. But either way, there are a lot of people moving into Idaho, which is not necessarily a terrible thing. Unless you moved here trying to get away from everybody because you hate people, well, yes, this is a very bad thing. But for a lot of people that want to start a business or get in on a place that the prices are going to continue to rise, this is actually a positive thing. So depends on how you look at it. I personally have my views, but I don't need to share those with you. I just need to share the information so that you can decide if Idaho is still the right place for you to consider moving to. So let's dive in to the 10 reasons why I see 2023 as continuing to grow and even beyond that. Number 10, we have excellent beer and excellent food. Now that is number 10, so it's not a huge contributing factor, but when someone who's living in a place like Portland, Seattle, LA, Denver, a place that has a lot of really good food, they're gonna look at Idaho and go, what you got brewing over there? And we have a ton of microbreweries. In Coeur d'Alene, Moscow, and Boise, there's a lot of microbreweries. And when I did drink some of those, and they're very delicious. Personally, I've been off of alcohol for 3 years, and my wallet has never looked better. But I'm not gonna judge anybody who likes to drink. Microbrews were delicious. We also have really good food here because there's a lot of local farmers and local ranches. I personally have a freezer in my basement full of grass-fed beef from Tensed, Idaho, and it's awesome. And for those people that are worried that we might experience a famine sometime in the near future, that is a huge safety blanket for them to see that they like, hey, I can go and get food just right down the street at a local gardener or farmer or ranch. But what's really awesome is because we have all these local food sources, you can go to a lot of restaurants that have farm to table food. So it's literally locally sourced produce, not so much fruit. I mean, there's some fruit here, but we don't grow fruit all year long. So during the summer, you might be able to find that. But we also have grass-fed beef and animals that are raised right here. So that's not only really good for your gastrointestinal system because you're not getting a ton of the stuff that factory farms put in their food, but it's also really, really good for the local economy. So food and beer is a contributing factor to why people are moving here. Number 9, Idaho is about as gun-friendly as you can get. Now, why would that be a contributing factor to people wanting to move to Idaho? Well, if you haven't heard in the news recently, Oregon tried to pass one of the most ridiculous gun laws that has ever been proposed. Basically, you had to go and request permission anytime you wanted to buy a firearm, and the government gets to decide if you get to buy that or not. That makes a lot of Second Amendment supporters very uncomfortable, or anybody who knows about dictator states. That's usually how it starts. Not saying that that's what they're trying to accomplish, but it's hard to tell the difference sometimes. So even if you aren't a huge Second Amendment supporter, but you just like to shoot guns, or you're a collector of firearms, it doesn't feel very good to have the local government go, you know what, in order to keep everybody safe, we're gonna take your property. Now, I know that shootings are a very sensitive issue and they're happening everywhere, and it's a massive problem. But going and taking away our rights to defend ourselves is not going to solve that problem, because people can still get stabbed, blown up, run over by a car. There's lots of horrible things we can do to each other. So ultimately, we need to get to the source of why we're doing this to each other and not take away our right to defend ourselves. So while Oregon is trying to pass gun laws that says you need our permission if you're going to buy a gun, Idaho is going in the opposite direction, going, you know what? You don't even need our permission anymore to conceal carry. We're a constitutional carry state, so if you want to carry a firearm on your person and conceal it, you have the right to do that. So for a lot of people that are worried about their guns being taken away, Idaho looks like a really great state. The eighth reason why Idaho is going to continue to grow into 2023 is our economy is growing right along with our population. We had a huge surplus for our government this year. I think it was a $2 billion surplus, and $1 billion got returned back to the taxpayers. We're also a right to work state, which means if you want to get out of being an employee and start your own business, it makes it really easy to do that here in Idaho. And when you combine starting a new business with a population that's growing and needs goods and services, that's a really great mixture. And when you compare Idaho to California with the licenses and taxes and fees, it is very attractive. Idaho is very small business friendly. So you combine that with the right to work state and a booming population, this is like a dream for anyone wanting to get out of the chains of employment and start their own business. Now, I do want to say this does not include every area in Idaho. There's a lot of small towns that have not seen the population growth or the economy boom like we've seen here in North Idaho or down in the Boise area. So to avoid making a big mistake and help you figure out where the right place for you to move is, reach out with a phone call, text, or email. Day, nights, weekends. I myself, me and my team are up here in North Idaho, but I have partners in the Boise area, Twin Falls, Idaho Falls, all over Idaho. So we can help you figure out where the right place is and help you avoid moving to the wrong place and really regretting it. So reach out anytime. Now, the seventh reason Idaho is going to continue to grow in 2023, Idaho is very safe. Now, if you've been watching the news, you probably are thinking, really, Trent? Idaho is safe with what just happened? Yes, there was a tragedy that happened down in Moscow, about an hour and a half away from Coeur d'Alene. And those things do happen any place in the world. There is no place where that kind of thing doesn't happen. But what's important is to look at how the community responds to it and be able to pull back a little bit and compare how often something like that happens in our state and how often crime in general happens. When you compare Idaho to a major city like Portland, Seattle, LA, Denver, Phoenix, Idaho is incredibly safe, and that's why it's continuing to grow like it is, because a lot of these places are becoming very unsafe. Idaho ranks number 42 out of the entire country when it comes to violent crime, with Maine being the safest at number 50. And our property crime rate is 42% lower than the national average. So when it comes to looking for a place that is safe, yes, horrible things can happen anywhere in the world. But overall, Idaho is a very safe place to live. Number 6, Idaho has every outdoor sport you could possibly want. During the pandemic, a lot of people could no longer just stay indoors and eat and drink and bowl, whatever they were doing. They were forced to go outdoors and find things to do. And guess what happened? They remembered that being outdoors is a lot of fun. So outdoor sports really took off. And when it comes to Idaho, 60% of the entire state is public land. So you have plenty of space to go and explore and do whatever outdoor sport you want. Idaho has over 2,000 lakes. It has thousands and thousands of miles of rivers and streams. There's 18 ski resorts. There's over 100 golf courses, world-class hiking, as well as a 1,300-mile plus long Centennial Trail. So whatever you're looking to do outdoors, Idaho is it. Number 5, the cost of living in Idaho. Now, before you keyboard warriors get on there and start attacking me saying, what are you talking about? It's not affordable to live in Idaho anymore. I know, if you look back a few years and see the price increase, you go, wow, how did that happen? What? It's overpriced. But we can't compare it to a few years ago. What we need to do is compare it to other places that are similar, places like Tahoe, Vail, or Whitefish, Montana. And when you look at those prices that are similar in the type of area they are, you go, okay, yeah, Idaho's still pretty affordable. One study showed that Idaho ranks number 17 out of the most expensive states to live. So that means there's 16 other states that are quite a bit more expensive to live than Idaho. So for those people that are living in those other 16 states, they can still look at Idaho and go, that looks pretty good, especially considering that the government is pretty well ran, pretty stable, and look at all that it offers. Now, sure, there are other places that are cheaper to live, like Oklahoma or Mississippi, but who wants to have to spell Mississippi all the time, right? Mississippi? No, thank you. There's a reason those places are less expensive, so overall, the cost of living is still an attractant for people moving to Idaho. Now, the 4th reason Idaho is going to continue to grow in 2023, Idaho is very slow to change. There's been a lot of changes that have taken place over the last few years, but not in Idaho. For instance, marijuana is still completely illegal here in Idaho. Now, a lot of people contribute these changes to some of the big problems that we're experiencing in the country. So when they see Idaho not going along with these changes, they feel like Idaho is going to be a much safer place and better overall. Whether that's true or not, that's for you to decide, but that is another reason Idaho is going to keep growing. The 3rd reason Idaho is going to continue to grow into 2023, Idaho is a very tax-friendly state. Now, for all of my people that are in places like New York, California, Seattle, Portland, the places where the taxes are just crazy, you're gonna love this part. Idaho has a sales tax of 6%. The property tax is on average less than 1%. We do have an income tax, a state income tax that does go up to 6.92%, but even the taxes on vehicles and getting permits on buildings, they're so much better than a lot of these other states. For everybody out there getting hit with these massive property tax bills and income tax people in California, you know what I'm talking about. That is a major attraction for people looking at Idaho. Number 2, Idaho is a hunter and fisherman's paradise. Now, we already talked about how great it is if you're an outdoorsman and you like outdoor sports, but we did not talk about the wildlife in Idaho. Idaho has some really awesome big game like moose, elk, deer, black bear, antelope, mule deer. I mean, there's all kinds of big game here, but they also have really friendly seasons. Unlike Washington, that really limits the seasons. If you're a bow hunter, it is fantastic. And even if you're a rifle hunter, you have this nice long season to go get your animal. And I already mentioned we have 2,000 lakes, we have tons of rivers, and down on the Salmon River, there is a salmon run that happens every single year. It's about 2 to 3 weeks where the Chinook salmon make an 800-mile trek to get to their spawning grounds. And believe me, it is a sight to see when they are striking. So while a lot of these other states are starting to disparage hunters, Idaho makes it super friendly, which creates a huge attraction for anybody that's into those sports. So number 1 on the list as to why Idaho is going to continue to grow, Idaho has a community here. a lot of people, and I can tell you from all the calls I've gotten from this channel over the last couple of years, a lot of people call me looking for a place that they can feel like they're a part of a community. And a lot of people have similar interests that are moving to Idaho, so it's a lot easier to have that community. I don't know if you know this, but there have been several major studies done over the last 12 years that say that we are going through a period of time with the greatest loneliness and isolation that has been seen in generations. I really do believe that all of our electronics that were supposed to bring us closer together have absolutely separated us. We're getting polarized left and right with different issues and politics. And so the ability to move to a place knowing that there's gonna be a group of people that are into the same thing is a huge attraction for people moving to Idaho. So guys, that is it. Those are the 10 reasons why I believe Idaho is going to continue to grow in 2023 and beyond. Now, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and leave a comment in the comments section letting me know if there was any part of this video that helped you decide if Idaho is the right place for you. And if you are serious about getting moved here, reach out to me and my team at the phone number listed below or the email address. What I like to do is get a Zoom call set up with everybody so we can talk semi face-to-face and figure out where the best place in Idaho is going to be for you. And until the next one, guys, I will see you